We have Gerald Celente with us. Gerald, here are the global crime syndicate, white shoe boys, as you call them, meeting openly, most of them the heads of the banks that are looting us, and the police are treating reporters like scum and threatening to arrest them and snatching their passports from them. Gerald Celente.
Well, you know what I used to say over and over again, and people didn't want to hear it. If the names on Wall Street were named Celente, Caruso, Mondavi, Puccini, Rossini, they'd call it the mafia. But as you point out, you can't call the white shoe boys crooks and criminals. Oh, no, they dress nice, and they have good language, and they go to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, and Oxford, Eton boys. Oh, no, they're proper. You know, they're raping this country, International Monetary Fund. You know, if Dominique Strauss-Kahn is allegedly guilty of raping that woman, it's just what the IMF does. They're either raping a person or raping a country. You pointed it out. They call it privatization. What they do is they force countries into bankruptcy by their banking deals. And as you also pointed out, who do the Greek people owe this money to? Oh, the German and French banks and other criminal groups that made bad bets, and they can't lose. So what are they doing? Well, we have to privatize. Privatize? Oh, again, white shoe boy language. That means taking expensive public resources and selling them very cheaply to your buddies. So what we're looking at here, Alex, is really criminal activity that's in front of all of us. And you nailed it, and what you're doing is terrific by exposing it. And as you well point out, I remember 20 years ago, there was this little newspaper, I think it was called Liberty Lobby, and they used to write about the Bilderbergs. And nobody believed them. Nobody, oh, they were these crazy people. The takeover has happened, and it's not socialism. I make this really clear. The merger of state and corporate powers is called fascism. And all the police are, the ones that you're talking about, the police in the countries around the world are nothing more than enforcers for the government crime bosses. The morality of the police is disgusting, is what's happened. As you pointed out, that video about breaking down the door at 6 o'clock in the morning because the guy didn't pay, his wife didn't pay his student loan, one after another. So the people better stand up because, boy, oh boy, the steamroller's ready to roll, and they're going to roll you over.
Gerald, for those that don't know, the footage is up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. The Department of Education, the feds have basically federalized all local police. They just show up and order them to SWAT team someone when debtor prisons are illegal. But I see articles every day where they're arresting people for unpaid debts. And then I see the article where the police did do their job in Florida, where for 5 months the bank said you never owned the house. That people paid cash. Bank of America, you don't have a deed. You took their luxury home. And finally, the police did the right thing and did their job. And when they went into the bank to seize the Bank of America branch and take the money out of the bank to pay them their hundreds of thousands back, under court order, the banker reportedly said, well, you can't do this. We're Bank of America. These guys think, and they've committed so many crimes, that they're God and can do this, but their comeuppance is coming. The awakening is happening to these criminals, and Bank of America is part of the big global 6 mega banks that own the IMF and World Bank and that own the Federal Reserve shares. And the people are identifying them, and the people are awakening.
Well, they better awake. You know, I just heard James Carville, the Democratic strategist. And he's now saying what I said 2 years ago was going to happen. But, of course, now it's making news, and they're not calling him crazy.
Imminent civil unrest.
Exactly. You know, I've been saying this for how long? And that's what's going to happen. You know, it's very simple. You know, I've been giving this a lot of thought. The only way this is going to change, we're not going to have a third party. It's rigged against us. Let the people vote. Let the people vote. Every major issue, war, bailouts, immigration. Let the people vote. You talked about Switzerland. What do they have in Switzerland? other than the money cockroaches. What they have in Switzerland is direct democracy. The representatives in this country don't represent us. Let's make this really clear. What they call campaign contributions, that's kitty talk for bribes and payoffs. Let the people vote. Let the people vote on every issue. We do not have a representative form of government. It's a takeover. Washington is controlled by Wall Street. The only way I see it changing, Alex, if you go back to TARP, the people would have never voted for it. If you put the war on Libya in front of the people, they would never vote for it. If you put up, do you want to keep the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan going, the people won't vote for it. That's the only way I see out of this, a direct democracy on major issues.
Well, you're absolutely right. And in every case in history, tyrants' undoing is that they reach too far. They get away with so much that they think they can do whatever they want. It's like Wiener. I mean, what type of person in their right mind, especially a prominent person, would be sending hundreds of photos of their member out to women, and then when Andrew Breitbart comes out and reports on it, they say he hacked Wiener and put it out. Wiener knew that wasn't true. I mean, this is incredible. How not only did he lie about it, he tried to frame Andrew Breitbart. I mean, these guys...
But Alex, who does his wife work for?
Hillary.
And don't you remember the Bill story?
Well, she's the special. Well, Bill said Hillary's...
made up the Monica Lewinsky, I didn't have sex with that woman's story. I smoked, but I didn't inhale Bill Clinton. This is what they do all the time. What's the surprise? I said it over and over again.
Stay there. We got a break. Got a break. Incredible. Gerald Salente straight ahead. We'll cover the spectrum of news. Stay with us. Up on our Twitter feed that you can follow at Infowars.com, we have a big headline area there that says exclusive, continually updated area at Infowars.com. We're also going to get this special page posted up at PrisonPlanet.com that has links to our live video feeds, photo feeds, and so much more. But we now have the blown-up photos of the concentration camp-style floodlights, the special tripods with cameras every 10, 15 feet or so. That's all up there right now. And we do have, from Jim Tucker, this is breaking here, what their agenda is. And I'll talk a little bit about that in the next segment. In fact, let's just get into it now. What do you think of this agenda? Directly from his multiple sources inside Bilderberg. And we also have the intel, trust but verify, confirming that the West is behind trying to trigger a lot of these Arab uprisings to drive up oil prices, start a larger regional war. As you said a year ago, they would try to trigger a war as a political smokescreen so we'd rally around them. That they're upset that Congress is starting to wake up to the fact that Obama didn't have congressional approval and used UN authority to do it. They want a wider, giant war in the Middle East. This is directly from inside. They want continued bailouts, not just to Greece, but they want to secure unlimited trillions in a second round of profiteering that they call bailouts. So that's being haggled over. They're picking the new IMF head. Even Swiss press has reported that. But this is all very newsworthy here. But no, you won't see it in the U.S. other than Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. We hope the Drudge Report picks all this up as it develops. Also, they want to go after the alternative media, and we see inside, mirrored by Public, Sarkozy and others 2 weeks ago at the EU meeting, Gerald, openly saying that they do want to clamp down on the freedom of the press and the web and start censoring people and taxing the web. This is big news, and they're trying to get their carbon tax through. All that from inside Bilderberg. What's your take on that agenda?
Well, it's the agenda that's been going on now for quite some time. First of all, let's look at they have to continue to print the digital money, not worth the paper it's not printed on. So that's why we still believe gold 2,000 and above. You saw the unemployment numbers last week, worse than expected. And I love the language, again, the white shoe boy language.
The first and most important reason to have food reserves is to be prepared in case of an emergency. There are an average of 392 large-scale natural disasters a year. Add to this the possibilities of unemployment, accidents, and downturns in the economy that have 43 million Americans on food stamps, and food reserves make all kinds of sense. But food reserves are not just about you, are they? They're about you and all the people you care about. Let me illustrate my point. The price of food is continually rising. What if you found out about a grocery store that opened up in your neighborhood with prices from 10, 15, even 20 years ago? Would you shop there? Probably. What if the food was free? Would you keep it to yourself? Or would you feel inspired, even responsible to share that gift? eFoods Global can help you and your family and friends prepare for an uncertain future with our food reserves. And we can even show you how to do it for free. The more of us that are prepared, the more generous and empowered we will all be, and the safer our families will be. Now let's continue our tour by showing you what goes into making eFoods Global Reserves and why they are the right choice for you. For 30 years, eFoods Global has been perfecting the process by which we make our food reserves. We start by using only the finest sun-ripened and fresh produce grown and harvested following the Good Agricultural Practices guidelines. Not only are our ingredients GAP certified, but we carefully test them for chemical and microbial contaminants like Salmonella and E. coli before the approved ingredients are blended into our exclusive recipes following strict quality control standards established and audited by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. These ingredients contain no trans fats, no hydrogenated oils, and no MSG. At eFoods Global, we do not freeze dry our food because the freeze drying process removes moisture and infuses chemicals into the food to prolong the shelf life. All of our ingredients are dehydrated only using low heat, and no chemical preservatives are ever added. Our dehydration process naturally preserves the food so that upwards of 92% of the nutritional value remains intact. These quality ingredients are then packaged in moisture-resistant, light-resistant, proprietary assurance packaging that is flushed with carbon dioxide to prevent oxidation and guarantee longer shelf life and quality before sealing the package. Finally, we date stamp the outside of the package the day we prepare the food reserves, so you know you're getting fresh food reserves. eFoods Global Reserves, when properly stored, maintain their flavor and quality for up to 25 years. Now, I know what you're thinking. These can't possibly be the reserves. But these delicious meals are exactly what you get when you prepare your eFoods Global meals. And none of these meals require more than a pot of boiling water, the contents of a package, and 10 to 20 minutes. Pretty soon, you are going to select some of these delicious meals to try for yourself for free. That's a great opportunity.